All right, how to reframe your perception of stress to cope with stressful situations, and how does this relate to your health and your fitness and your physique and all these sort of things. So here are a couple things to keep in mind on how to perceive stress. The first step is to reframe your mindset. Now, how does this even relate to even your health and your fitness, right? Because you might be wondering, how does this even have to do anything to do with it? But it actually has a lot to do with it, because you are constantly going to be hit with different stressors in life. If you had nothing else in this world, the only thing that you really have is your brain and your thoughts. And if your ability to control your thoughts, to sit with your thoughts, and to not be fazed by what people say, or not be fazed by whatever's going on, is a superpower. And it's a skill, and it takes practice, right? And so in this video, I'm going to touch up on a couple different things on how to hone in on that skill. So a quick thing to keep in mind is that perception is reality, right? That how somebody perceives you is their reality. How we consistently think is ultimately how we're going to feel. And if you cannot control the narrative that you create in your head, it's going to affect you, and it's going to manifest in different ways. Now, the problem with it manifesting in the bad ways is that it's taking you away from your goal of feeling healthier. You know, if you can't cope with stress and you can't cope with a lot of things going on, you're probably going to not work out. You're not going to value your training, because that's probably the last thing you want to even think about, is go and work out, right? Now, some people are the opposite. Some people think, oh, they have to actually go work out because they are under stress. But this video is obviously catered to those people that don't know how to cater that feeling to go and work out because they're stressed. So the first step is to reframe the situation, right? So the first step to reframing the situation is to feel what you're feeling, to know why you feel the way you feel. Look at what are you feeling, and you want to look for, in your narrative, in your story that you create in your head, you want to look for cognitive distortions, self-deception, and self-justification. These are stories that we all create, also called narrative, from the given situation. It's usually in a defense mode, because we think that given the circumstances that we're right and that the other person has to be wrong, and that you categorize the situation in a way that you're biased towards yourself, which is human nature, and the other person is at fault. But if you really look at your narrative and you really try to understand why you're feeling the way you're feeling, it gives you more power. It allows you to be more powerful rather than being powerless, because a closed-minded mind and a narrow mind is a weak mind. An angry mind is a weak mind, right? This sort of thinking can hurt you in the long run if you are not careful with your thoughts. So this is the first step, is to feel what you're feeling. What are you feeling? The second step for reframing is to question your narrative, question your story, question what you're feeling. It's okay to feel whatever you're feeling. I'm sure you have every right to feel the way you feel. For example, if somebody is, let's say you have to live with somebody, or you have to work with somebody who isn't doing their work on time, or they're not cleaning up after themselves, or they're not being nice to so-and-so, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what they're doing. What I'm referring to is that they are doing something that's triggering a response in you that's maybe making you feel angry, or maybe overwhelmed, overworked, underpaid, whatever it is. And as a result of that, you get stressed out, right, from their actions. But if you look at it from a different perspective, you try to question the story, question what's going on. So this person isn't working, they're not doing X, Y, Z. How can you look at that situation differently to control your emotions? Because if you're going to let their actions affect how you feel, you're ultimately giving up your power, right? So I always think in terms of, how can I be powerful, not powerless? You want to use your emotions to be an advantage to you. You want to make sure that they are in favor of you. You don't want your emotions to work against you. You want it to work for you. Stress builds on itself when you stay in the victim mentality. You want to be proactive, not reactive. So the key to doing that is to first be aware that you're reacting or you're responding a certain way, and then to address how you feel and to ask yourself, okay, what am I going to do about it? You know, you can't control what they're doing. All you can control is how you feel. Those are the ways to reframe your thinking, how to cope and deal with stress. And remember that perception is reality, because victim mentality is only going to attract more victim mentality circumstances. And from that point, it's very difficult to get out that mindset. That's why you see a lot of people that are negative and they don't get anywhere in life, because they're always negative, because that's all they think about. And they never move ahead, right? So the way to, I always say the way out is up, right? The way out of any situation is up. And sometimes if a situation is so stressful that you don't know how to deal with it, sometimes you physically have to remove yourself from the situation. You tell the person, you tell the situation, you know, I need to take some 10 minutes to myself, or I need this day, one day to simmer, and I'll get back to you. And usually, more times than not, people will respect that. People will understand. Now, if the person's a jerk, which happens, then you know what you're dealing with and you know what you're up against. So those are my tips on how to reframe, because again, if you're stressed out all the time, you will not see progress, you will not lose weight, you will not gain muscle. Nothing's going to happen. Everything's going to shut down if you're always stressed. So hopefully that was useful and helpful. If it was, then go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the best YouTube channel ever and learn from the best in the business. That's me. That's a bold statement, but it's kind of a fact, although it is a fact. And then check out my other amazing stuff, because I have awesome stuff. I usually write about this, so you can check out my Substack. All right, subscribe to the channel and have a great day.